I think the people that I get to work with day in, day out, the culture from the top down. We're a God-fearing, God-honoring company. He has blessed us, and to work in a place like that day in, day out is truly, I think, an exception in our country. That I wish we had more places like that.
Good afternoon. You'll help me welcome Reverend Mark Love, who will give our invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for the moisture. Very welcome to our country and the city. And, we just continue to pray that you'll just keep sending it. So the dry conditions will go away and fill up the lakes. Just help us with the stress that the water problems cause our city. I want to pray for this meeting, Father, that you will just bless it, that the meeting will be productive for the citizens of Amarillo. We pray for the commission and their families, the sacrifice that they're making in serving the public. So we lift this time up to you in your Son's name. Amen.
You join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon and welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Amarillo City Commission held on the third floor every Tuesday this week at 3 p.m. The first item of business today will be the minutes. But before we review those minutes, I'd like to take a point of personal privilege and mention that a long-time attendant of our meetings, a lady that used to sit in the back, passed away last Tuesday. If we just remember her for a moment with silence. Jane Austin, who was a city employee for how long? 35 years?
I believe it had been retired for about a similar amount of time.
Very interested, always had great comments for us. Wonderful lady, and she will be missed. We'll be silent for just a moment. Thank you. Okay, the minutes for review will be the minutes from the regularly held meeting of December 6, 2011. Do we have any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Mayor, I would move for approval of minutes as presented.
I second the motion.
Okay, any changes? Any discussion? All those in favor of the minutes as presented?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. Second item is public hearing consideration of the installation of a four-way stop sign at the intersection of Kingston Road and Granada Drive. This item conducts a public hearing regarding the installation of a four-way stop sign at the intersection of Kingston Road and Granada Drive in the Ridgecrest neighborhood. This traffic control device has been requested by neighborhood homeowners concerned about traffic on Granada Drive. The Amarillo Traffic Commission considered this on November 16, 2011, and it voted 6-0 to recommend approval of the request to the City Commission. And, Mr. City Manager, could we go through a little explanation of this?
Certainly, Mayor. The current neighborhood traffic policy of the City of Amarillo allows residents in a given area to petition for consideration of certain traffic control devices. Primarily that would be stop signs, four-way stop signs, and occasionally you'll see for the speed control humps to be put in. This item was residents in the immediate neighborhood, and I believe a substantial proportion of them, 77% out of 62 out of possible 80 property owners here have asked that this be put forth. The Traffic Commission, once the petition is received, then conducts the studies, looks at the speeds, holds a hearing. The Traffic Commission did that back in November. There's also a 1,000-foot notification zone, so that's actually larger than the actual adjacent owners that do the petition, and that's to account for folks who may not live right there, but who would be affected. As a result of that, there were 254 notices that were sent out. Of those notices, it generated 6 responses back. All 6 of those responses were in favor of such a 4-way stop sign being installed. The Traffic Commission has reviewed it, they've conducted their hearing, and they have now recommended it to you for your consideration.
Okay, are there any questions from the Commission about this recommendation? Any comments from the public about this recommendation? No, excuse me, yes ma'am.
Hi, I'm Nancy Minstow, and I live at 4400 Kingston. And on September 2nd this year, about 2:40, my daughter called. She was homesick. She's 11. And I was unable to get her call. I was training someone. So I texted her to make sure she was okay. And she texted back and said she had to call 911, that someone had driven through our kitchen. So upon arrival, she was hysterical. Someone had hit our neighbors, catty corner to us, their curb, hit my husband's pickup, the curb, and then came through our kitchen. My daughter said as soon as she screamed, they drove off, and they were never caught. And she was in the kitchen about 2 minutes before, she said, and walking through the house with the foreman. He said, oh yeah, she would have been smashed had she been in here. All of our cabinets on the north side of our kitchen and our appliances were smashed up to the ones on the south side. I have pictures, if you don't mind if I bring those up there.
Sure. This is the house that was on the news last night, wasn't it?
Yes.
So you're right there where they're not curved.
Yes, right after our house is that curve.
Because he would be on the northwest corner of Granada and Kingston.
We are actually on the southwest.
I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
Yes. It caused $28,000 worth of damage to our home. Money wasn't important to us as long as our daughter was safe. We no longer let the children play out front. And it was real eye-opening. We're pretty new to the neighborhood. We've been there about a year and a half. But in talking, getting the petition signed, every neighbor has a story about how dangerous that road is.
I was going to ask, are you the petitioner?
Yes.
Appreciate your concern.
Thank you.
Sir. Yes.
Hi, I'm Andy Minstill, married to Nancy at 4400 Kingston, and as Nancy was saying, Granada runs along the south side of Amarillo High School, so you see a lot of teenagers driving fast down Granada at lunch and after school and at various times. Another reason why you see folks driving fast through there, I believe, is there's neither a stop sign nor a yield sign all the way on Granada, all the way from Ridgecrest Circle down to Bell Street. And of course, as y'all mentioned, there's right before you get to the intersection of Kingston and Granada, you have that curve there. And it's difficult to see around that curve because of the fence at 4401 Kingston sticks out pretty far. So it makes for a dangerous combination. Not having anything to slow the traffic down and that curve there. As Mr. Atkinson spoke, as my wife was going around and we were visiting with our neighbors and getting the petition signed, we had overwhelming support from the neighbors in our neighborhood to get the stop sign. Of the people that we were able to speak to, of the 63 people we were able to actually speak to, 98%, only one didn't sign our petition. So from the ones we were able to speak to, we had 98%, in favor of the stop sign. Ridgecrest area, Ridgecrest is a neighborhood where there's a lot of kids out playing, riding their bikes, and a lot of people walking, and we just feel that getting the four-way stop sign there at the intersection is the right thing to do, and it would make the neighborhood safe. And we feel that there's overwhelming support from the neighborhood, and that's what the folks in Ridgecrest would like to see. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
I believe you all have done a valuable service for our city. Any other comments?
My name is Jan Everett. I live at 4212 Kingston, which is on the corner, on the northwest corner. I've had a young man run through, take out fences, our storage building, go across the alley, and take out the next fence behind us. This has been about 5 years ago now. But nothing's changed. We did have a police officer that sat in the alley, especially when school was out, at that time of day. That helped tremendously. That house was straight across from the kids here. But we need something. I don't know. I came down yesterday just to see, and that is quite a curve on that street, on Granada, from there down to the nursing home. And we need something bad. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Jerry Webb. I live at 4210 Kingston. And about 3 years ago or 4, I'm not really sure, there was a kid on a motorcycle come around that corner. He lost control of it, killed him out there across the street from us. And that, as you say, this has been a dangerous corner for several years. And I would appreciate a stop sign there. I've lived there since '69. And since the high school opened up after the Emerald High burn, that kids coming down through there at lunchtime, they want to get to the groceries real quick, and they don't pay attention to where they're going. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your comments. If there are no other comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move that we go forward with public hearing consideration of the installation of four-way stop signs at the intersection of Kingston Road and Granada Drive.
So I would second the motion approving this ordinance.
Okay. No other discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes with a 5-0 vote. Ordinance number 7307. This is the first reading of an ordinance changing the zoning of Lot 13, Block 5, and an irregular portion of Lot 16, Block 4, all in Caprock Edition, in Section 185, Block 2, ABNM Survey, Randall County, in the vicinity of Moss Lane and Interstate 27. From General Retail District to Light Commercial. This is recommended for approval by a 6-0 vote of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Any explanation needed by the commissioners on this? Are there any comments from the commissioners? Any comments from the audience? Not if you're there, any motion?
If I could, might ask for reference that this is a plan development for light commercial use, excluding the bars, the on-site consumption of alcohol. Just as a point of clarification.
Okay. Any other comments? Any other explanation? Anything from the audience? Entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move we approve ordinance number 7307.
Okay.
All those in favor of ordinance number 7307?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes with a 5-0 vote. Number 4, resolution establishing a public improvement district. This resolution conducts a public hearing and establishes a public improvement district to be located in the subdivision known as Redstone, in the vicinity of Loop 335 and Hollywood Road and Coulter Street. This petition is submitted by Panhandle Land Investments 1 LP in the process of developing a full section west floodplain subdivision consisting of residential and commercial retail uses. The Public Improvement District is created to fund the construction and maintenance of certain right-of-way improvements, such as landscaping, green areas, and entry features. The cost of these improvements will be borne by the property owners within the subdivision as allocated equitably among all platted lots. Is there any comments about this PID? Any explanation needed? Mr. Sells.
I'm Carl Sells, 504 South Polk. I'm here to, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them on behalf of the petitioner.
You had a pretty thorough explanation this in the work session, so good. Does anybody have any questions from commissioners or Mr. Sells? Yes. Okay. Any comments from the public? Not, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the resolution to establish a public improvement district in the Redstone subdivision.
Second.
All those in favor of the resolution establishing a public improvement district signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes with a 5-0 vote. Thank you. Resolution public hearing. This resolution sets a date, January 10, 2012, for a public hearing on substandard structures and solid waste accumulation located in the city. This actually is pertaining to two properties, and we want to correct an address. If we move back, it is correct and everything. There was one probably typo. One address is 1701 South Nelson, and the other is 13 North Spring. This is not the public hearing. This is actually when we would set the date for a public hearing. Are there any comments from the commissioners about this? Any comments from the public? Sir.
Well, I think you have the address wrong on that property at North Spring. I think that's 1300 North Spring.
Sir, can we have your name and address, please?
Yes, I'm Stanley Wheeler. I reside and own the property at 1302, and my cohort here we live across the street at 1209 North Spring. And this property has been under review, demolition for the past 15 years, where the body was found in the garage, condemned, and the neighbors, it is deploring to our neighbors, and just been in consideration, but
you say you have the address wrong, sir?
yes, you do.
Well, you said 13.
I apologize. It was my fault. It is correct here, 1300 North Spring.
Yes.
My apologies.
Okay, that's correct.
Okay, great.
But anything you can do to help our neighborhood would greatly, greatly be appreciated. And I thank you, and we'll be here, I hope, on January the 10th again.
Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, with the correction of what I stated, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I would move for approval of the resolution calling for a public hearing on January 10th, year 2012, for consideration of a public hearing on 1701 South Nelson and 1300 North Spring.
I second the motion.
All those in favor of that resolution for public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes with a 5-0 vote. Consent agenda. This resolution it is recommended that the following items be approved and the city manager be authorized to execute all documents necessary for each transaction. Item A is purchase of B4 pre-coated aggregate. B is award of asbestos removal project. C is dedication and acceptance of aviation clear zone easement. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be removed by the Commission for separate consideration? Not entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Is there any discussion or comments about the consent agenda? All those in favor of the consent agenda as presented?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes with a 5-0 vote. That concludes the regularly scheduled meeting of the Amarillo City Commission. It's however customary at this time to allow citizens of the community with matters pertaining to city policy, programs, or services to speak to the Commission, and the floor is now open for those comments. Would anyone like to make additional comments today? If not, this meeting will be adjourned.